Here we are, punters. A bit of punting Melbourne style, part 2. All about the punters punter.
Post carnival.
Post carnival. Last show we did, DK, we did a bit of a chat about trying to identify good form races and all that.
We did, yeah, and it was well received. I think I got a bit of feedback about that. There was some good stuff. People enjoyed that. So,
And one of the bits of feedback we got was a follow-up question from was it Anthony?
Anthony, yeah. And he wanted to know. He would talk about margins. So his question was, where do margins fit into this equation? I've often heard that bunched finishes equal bad form races, and spread finishes equal good form races. What's the logic to this? And is it real?
Yeah.
So you thought it would be a good opportunity to talk about that, is it?
Definitely. So Anthony, it's a really good question, and it's a really complex question.
Absolutely.
It's a great question to give people some insight into how subtle and complex racing is, and how you can view a race. It can be a good or a bad form race depending on the direction the horses go and things like that. So I thought we could talk about a meeting at Kyneton recently, DK, on what was last Wednesday, wasn't it? It was between
Kyneton Cup Day.
Kyneton Cup Day, between Cup Day and Oaks Day.
No, very well, mate. That's where I grew up and spent a lot of my junior days there on the Kyneton track. So.
And then we can talk about one of the form lines that's bobbed up throughout the spring that the punters might relate to as well. So you went out to Kyneton, didn't you?
Oh yeah, just as a yeah, I did. So I was Dad was president there, for ex-committeeman and president there. So Mum scratched and he asked me if I wanted to go. So I don't get to the races very often these days. So went up there and in the committee marquee and whatnot. And actually it was good, but just away from sideline. This is sort of, you get to the race, you get to talk to people, but because he was an ex-president, he was on the president's table and sat next to him. But next to me, I sat a Country Racing Victoria board member, and we also had the local minister and everything on the table. But it was good with the board member from Western Victoria, when he worked out what I did, had a chat to him and everything. He sort of really sort of said, here's a chance to ask a punter some questions. So we're right into the point of consumption tax, my thoughts on that, and all these issues about the jump outs being filmed and things like that. And he just asked me question after question, getting sort of easy. It's like he's a punter, sort of he knows what the government, the wagering operators, RVL, but he's an actual punter who's at the coalface and get his thoughts about all that. So I had a really good chat with him about my thoughts on point of consumption tax, all the different states, the different levels, impacts, and obviously with the jump outs with the being filmed and information, driving turnover and things like that. So yeah, so that was good being able to go to the races and then have a good conversation with someone like that. So that was good.
Excellent.
Yeah, but it was a good day out.
Yeah. Now, one of the reasons we wanted to talk about that Kyneton meeting is because it's a very interesting card. There are a couple of races there, the higher class races, that they've run very fast time. So, like, Linda just got Angelic Spirit into an amazing rhythm. It looks like she's going half pace, but the horse is actually going really quick.
It was quite perplexing. I didn't know if it was wrong. Is this real or not? That was my. Yeah, she got into her, but she wasn't going flat out or anything.
Didn't look like it, So it just shows you the benefit of a jockey like her that gets horses into that rhythm.
She's an amazing plus jockey on a leader.
Every now and again though, DK, she doesn't do that, and it's every time I fucking back her. Like she on that horse at Ballarat, that horse of Peter Morgan's. I can't even.
My mother says.
I mean, honestly, you won't find a ride like that from Linda 1 in 50, and I have to run into it. But like they're on Angelic Spirit.
On the reverse, I found. Everyone said Menangatang. I target Menangatang. Well, he's Angel Flights. It's number 50, but this is at stay, right?
Yeah.
And it was Chelsea McFarlane was up there. It was good enough up there. It's got Pete, right? So he goes to Hamilton and leads in a slow pace maid. And Linda's on and goes okay, gets Pete. Then it goes to stall the other day. Linda leads, wins. And she gets on after the race. She goes, probably went a bit slow on it at Horsham. Right. So I had to get this horse and I sort of just start gradually upping the tempo. So that's what, she's just on a leader when she just knows how to rate them and get them moving and things like that, So it's she got it to win a race, but.
So very fast time in that particular race there, and pretty solid margins. So typically my approach of races like that, when I see horses coming out of that sort of thing, you can rely on the ratings. And like you made the great comment on the last show we did that you said about, not sure how many you said, it was 10 or 20% of races that you're going to mark the time. Is that the
what did I say?
The mark at the time, like in your old IAS days.
Oh yeah. That's right. Yeah, that's right.
The rest of it, you're making an adjustment.
Making an adjustment
because of some of the subtleties. But there's some that you go, yep, there's the time. I can trust that, and the ratings and the margins reflect that what those horses had to offer on that day.
Yeah. So you believe it there, do you?
Yeah. It looks.
The jury's still out on me, only because all those place getters are all bunched. And I know Revlis very well. He's been spinning around in 58s and whatnot. Now he's charging in a second.
He's been a better horse since he's been gelded, though.
Okay.
He's had 4 runs as a gelding.
Yeah, that's all right. You've had a good look at it. I just thought, gee whiz, that's a big number. I know.
Well, I peeled it back from the ratings to win.
Yeah, it has to. Yeah, a lot. Yeah, they're still done.
Well, I'm saying it's a metro standard rating.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And another Coldy obviously ran a really fast time in the.
It's just airborne. Airborne. Jesus, good win.
Now, one of the difficulties of doing ratings and stuff like that, and with margins, the further up the distance chain you go, the less important. I'm not sure that's the right word. You get more variance in the times.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because
of the tempo of the races.
Tempo of the races. It's not spread as evenly. Like the shorter the race, the more evenly the tempo is going to be spread.
There's a good example of that. Would be the Miners Miss Grizzly and a Star Ballarat Maiden, which was running. They went quick early and they really slowed up mid-race. That really affected the overall time. Yep. And they sprinted home nice, so it was in the subtleties, that race, and with the horses coming out of it, That's 100% what I think. And I think one of the reasons why I tend to struggle, I'm not as consistent in those longer races, is that reason. Because I tend to be sort of a little. My anchor point for me is my ratings, and so I'm looking at what they did their previous run and what they can do in this race. And there's just more variance in what they produce because of those dramatic. I mean, a horse like Jemay, for instance, you know what I mean? Like, look what happened to him when he went to Caulfield on the slow tempo race. He's just out the back and couldn't compete because he just couldn't cope with it. No.
At Flemington, fast tempo race, he's a really reliable horse. So it's there's a lot of play in those longer distance races.
So the first thing I'm thinking about doing the form, about getting a handle on these the margins and the strong form and bad form is, if you've done the form and you've got a good handle on these horses and their capabilities, then when the race happens and the results happen and the margins happen, you sort of get a feel, say, okay, that's I believe that's true, that's right. If I don't know Angelic Spirit that well, you might know it as a better horse than me.
It's career best by a long way.
Career best, but it's a non-pacer. Yeah. It was out of a slow pace at Sale, and Linda's got it to go.
I don't necessarily think she'll be able to do that again.
No, that's right.
I'm saying it's helpful to the horses behind her.
Yeah.
Because she just got in a perfect rhythm on the day.
Yeah. So, but just on those, on the margins and believing it. So there's been a couple of Cranbourne recently. Riverina Dancer. It was like a mile maiden and coming out, and it was like spinning around, then comes out and win by 10 lengths. Cindy Alderson, they were like on its home track. Well, I don't really believe it. It's going to be hard to replicate. There's one on Tuesday there.
And to follow that up, okay, it went to Pakenham on Saturday, got beat as an odds-on favourite.
Yeah. So that's right. So what's happened here? And there was another one at Cranbourne on Tuesday, Alligiri, and I think called No Effort. Now it was first use and all that, but they've come out and beaten the rest 10 lengths. And I've gone, so I don't really believe that either. Alligiri's none from 14, and No Effort went back there on Friday night, or whenever the meeting was, and just went back to doing what it was doing. Yeah. So you've got to, knowing those horses, the handle on them, you sort of say, okay, this is real. Whereas a horse like Princess Jenny, who absolutely trotted in at Geelong the other day, was coming off really good sections at Pakenham, and she goes to Geelong and absolutely pisses in with a big number, with big margins, and beats Graham Begg and this and that. I believe that. That's I know those horses. She had the ability to do that. She started an odds-on favourite. I believe it.
Yeah.
So I think doing the form, getting a handle on the horse's capabilities, gives you a good start on the grasp of a good race and a bad race. Now, just saying it back to Kyneton race 1, you want to talk about a bad form race. Well, Barry's Command, who's been spinning around and got beat at Mortlake 4 lengths, comes out and beats McClary, who's had the most mishandled preparation you've ever seen, and Spillier, who was a one-paced barrier 1 horse out the back, and with the and so I'm just saying, little margins. McClary was stopping at the 100. Barry's is running down. And I know Barry's Command very well. I know McClary very well. I'm saying that's going to be an average race. That not much coming out of that.
And when you convert that race, I know it's a different class, but to get some sort of comparison with another Coldy race, it's like it's It's in a different suburb. Like it looks like a picnic race.
Yeah.
Like both of those 1850s look like picnic time compared to
another Coldie. So that's that's what we said. If you can benchmark against those better horses on the day, gives you a great feel. We said with that Geelong race that we liked with all those Derby horses, with Shabata and Kushagorski all run top 4 in the Derby, but that we could line that race up against Furion on the day.
Yeah.
And that really, we liked it anyway. But then you can benchmark it against, a similar race, which always.
And the important thing is, particularly when you're looking at races with either big margins or narrow margins, is to constantly be looking back at them as the form unfolds. To just adjust it if you need to. Because if the time's slow and the margins are tight, it's probably not much good.
Now there's a Geelong.
But it might not be.
There's a Geelong race which, on Geelong Cup Day, with a heap of winners have come out of. Horses have run really well.
Yep, Moonlover.
Moonlover. Oh, you're going to talk about that anyway, weren't you? Yeah, sorry.
Well, Moonlover's one of the most perplexing horses of the spring, and looking through some of her form and the horses she's beat and what's unfolded subsequently is fascinating, and it just shows you how important it is to not judge these races too soon. So on the 28th of September, she ran a race at Moonee Valley where Craig Williams went very, very slowly on the leader, Osura, and the favourite. She sat outside him and out-sprinted him, which at the time I'm thinking, how did that happen? I mean, he's a faster horse than her. She's been up since April. Like, so it wasn't like she was fresh or anything. Like, she's had the longest prep of all time. She's been freshened up a few times, but there she was, out sprinting Osura, and I just didn't know what to make of it. Like, the sections were fast and everything told you that he should have won that race.
And she was able to beat him.
She was able to beat him, so I sort of just shelved it and didn't put a particularly big figure on the race, but I'll just see what happens there. So then she goes to Caulfield in a funny shaped race where one of Toby Evans' horses won.
Yours Winter Bride or something?
It might have been Winter Bride. It might have been Winter Bride. And she sort of over revved a bit, and she got beat 4.5 lengths, and I think, well, that makes sense to me. That all works. So then she goes to Geelong. Mark Zara goes on. She just jumps straight into the bridle, controls the race. It almost looks like a barrier trial. Looks like all the horses there were just prepping up for a Flemington race or whatever. And she's just been gifted the race. But then when you review the time, she actually ran fast time. She was going quick throughout. And everything that ran behind her in that race, well, a lot of horses that ran behind her in that race, won over the Carnival as well, or at different times. Manuel was one. Loyalty Man, who beat Manuel on Saturday. Oh no, sorry, he was in the Moonee Valley race. Cool Passion.
Cool Passion, yeah.
So,
there's another one in there, I think.
Teleplay.
Teleplay
at Geelong. Just went around for practice. And then they win that race against the males at Flemington, which is
a great game, mate.
What a game it is. And the other reason I just wanted to mention her, because she's a mare, and I think the racing administrators have let us down over the spring with this whole Regime treatment for mares in season issue. I'm sick of hearing trainers, as they're being interviewed as the horses are going to the barrier, saying, I think she's in season. She's heavily in season. We hope she still runs okay. I mean, how is that fair to punters? Like, it's a guessing game.
I don't know if it's the same in WA, if you've got the same rules, but their top horse, Enticing Star, that's what happened there.
Right, in season.
She was in season, but he got on the pre-race interview. Or no, sorry, it was set out as a notification on the Friday on Twitter and things like that. But not all the punters and all in the totes and all that, and then all across all that,
Well, that's a step in the right direction. At least that happened,
That happened, that's right. So
there's been no notifications here.
No notifications here, no. But at least they did get notified there, but it's not going to help. But anyway, it was express, of course. Express, out the gate.
Yeah, so just going back and looking at those races, the 28th of the 9th where she won Moonlover, behind her that day were Osura, I mentioned, he was placed in Sydney on the weekend, I think. Manuel, Loyalty Man, and Schwazi Border. They've all won races since. And you'd be happy to back, particularly Schwazi Border and Manuel, to beat her if they ran into her again.
China Bowl.
China Bowl, yeah. Cool Passion and Princess of Queens were in the same race as her at Caulfield, and then Teleplay at Geelong. Now, the reason I mention all that is because none of those races initially really got your
Grabbed you,
attention,
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
So you had to go back and adjust them afterwards and look into the subtleties of it, and depended what race they were going into. So
And you do find something you missed when you do that. You say, oh,
Yeah.
I bloody missed that section, or there was a fast, or there was a squeeze, or there was something, you know.
yeah,
You do sort of can pick it up if you go back and have another look and say, especially if the market sort of life found them to some degree. You say, well, have I missed something there?
yeah.
You know, do I have that race high enough?
So to go back to Anthony's original proposition that he put to us, I would say if the time's really quick across the whole race and the margins are big, it's fairly reliable.
Yep.
As soon as the time's slower, you have to look into the subtleties, and then it depends where they're going off that. And you can't automatically assume that a slow overall time, particularly if it's got a nice shape to it, like say slow early, fast late, and narrow margins, you can't assume that's a bad race.
No. No, that's odd. You know, when there's a fast race and they've all emptied out, you know.
Yeah.
But anyways, I sort of look, I want to know. The last, the section I like, breaking up the sections. That's one thing to me, and that's how I found the Chapada race and the Sikorsky race. You know, it was sort of, as well as the raw time and everything that was in there, was some subtleties in the sections.
Yeah.
You know, if you go look for them, you know. So it's there if you want to go and find it, look for it.
And the last thing I want to say, I was doing quite a lot of review work this morning, DK, and I just noticed the debuter at Ballarat, Lady Vega.
Yeah, terrific. Yeah, Darren Weir 25 to 1.
Goodness me.
Did it let down? Amazing, mate.
That's right. I just looked at it and went, what was...
Yeah.
I better have another look at that.
4-year-old mare, was it a filly or a mare? Might have been a mare, anyway.
Yeah,
Mate,
anyway.
So if you see Darren Weir horse doing that at their first start, yeah, no, very, very good, mate.
What do you think? Any maidens for you recently?
I don't
No,
know.
off the top of your head?
I'm not off the top of my head.
It's just been too much racing, DK.
I know, it's just... You've got to take a breath. Take a breath, mate. Trying to get the post race done, because there's 2 meetings a day. You know, you've got to stay on top of the post race to get your review work done.
Well,
So,
breath of fresh air on, no, that's not what I meant to say, a bit of alleviation from the big fields anyway at Ballarat on Wednesday. Very small fields there on
Is there?
Wednesday, yeah.
There you go. All right, something to post, but no, it's all good, mate. I think all sweet.
That'll do us. Cheers, punters. Hope you enjoyed all that. Good stuff, mate.